Hello friends, I am Dr. Amoge. So once again I'm back and now I will be dealing with session number 7. Here I will be talking about the critical analysis of the lesson cartooning by R.K. Lakshman. And in the previous session, that is session number 6, we dealt with introduction to the author of the lesson, that is cartooning, and here we looked at R.K. Lakshman's life, his professional career, and his awards. And we came to know that he is the younger brother of R.K. Nair, the famous novelist, the famous Indian English novelist. And we also came to know that he has completed his graduation from Mysore, and we also came to know that he has enjoyed his professional life in the entire professional life except the first 6 months at Times of India, the famous newspaper of India. Then we also came to know that he has written three novels and two collections of cartoons, and all those books were published by Penguin Publishers. And we also came to know that he has been awarded with uh, top journalist of Asia, and we also came to know that he's been awarded Roman Magsaysay Award in 1984. And then we also came to know that he has been honored with two honorary doctorates from Delhi University and Marathwada University. And we also came to know that he has been honored with Padma Bhushan by Government of India in 2005. And actually he led a very healthy and complete and long life for 20, for 93 years. All those things we learned, and at the end we came to know that he was dead on he died he died on 26th January, which happens to be the Republic Day of India. So all these things we learned in the previous session, and now we will be looking into the lesson, which has been authored by R.K. Lakshman. So let us begin with that. So let us begin with the critical analysis. The author, that is R.K. Lakshman, recalls his teacher's appearance, which confirmed to the classic stereotype. The teacher used to leave the class at all times to have a smoke. The class monitor was given the responsibility to maintain the order. The boy narrated the same story always about the crow and the princess, or the crocodile and the monkey, or the donkey and the court jester. No one paid attention to these stories as they were heard earlier so many times. Students used to engage in gossip. Then a monitor saw a paper dart suddenly hurtle towards him from nowhere, or a piece of chalk fly past like bullets. He took down the names of the suspects. So in the first slide, or the actually the in the first slide of this session, we begin with critical analysis of the lesson called cartooning by R.K. Lakshman. So here R.K. Lakshman recalls his teacher's appearance, which seems to be very traditional. And then he also tells the teacher used to leave the class just to have smoke always. And then at that time, when teacher was absent, it was the responsibility of the monitor to take care of the class. And he used to narrate stories which have been narrated by him thousand times earlier. Means always he used to come up with these stories. He used to narrate the story of Crow and the Prince, or the second one is Crocodile and the Monkey, or the Donkey and the Court Jester. So these three stories were always narrated by the monitor. So no one in the class paid attention to those stories, as those stories were heard by them earlier. that everybody used to chit chat, everybody used to engage themselves and the gossip. And sometimes the students used to throw paper. They used to throw paper at at the monitor. They used to throw chalk at the monitor, and at that time the monitor used to jot the names down so that they can be given, those names can be given to the teacher when he comes back to the class. Later, the list was submitted to the teacher. Before leaving to have smoke, the teacher gave a task to draw a leaf, any leaf, instead of leaving the class in, in charge of the monitor. The task had engaged all the students creatively. One of them drew a banana leaf which was so big that it went out of the wooden frame on the slate. The other's drawing was observed by the teacher. He questioned him if he had drawn. So, what happened was, after the names were taken by the monitor, those names were submitted to teacher once he comes back. Then that is about the names. Then before leaving the class, the teacher is to give a class work, that is draw a leaf, any leaf, any kind, any leaf, it may be any leaf. And one of the students, he drew a banana leaf which went out of the slate. So that's how big that leaf was. That's how big this drawing was. And as we know, our author, that is R.K. Lakshman, he was very much interested in drawing, and he used to come up with very neat drawings, such so much so that the teacher got attracted towards the drawings, and he in fact asked the author, or that is R.K. Lakshman, that whether he only drew it. So this is the thing. In fact, the teacher showed the art of the author, that is R.K. Lakshman, to other students, that is to the whole class, and remarked that you will be an artist one day, keep it up. Lakshman got 10 marks out of 10. The teacher was very much impressed by the perfect shape of people live. The unexpected encouragement gave a birth to a new artist in Lakshman. It was his destiny. His drawings could be seen on the floors, walls, and doors of his house. So the teacher was very quick to appreciate the drawing of Lakshman. In fact, he showed it to the entire class and told him that one day you will definitely become a great artist. And so he wished him good luck. Then he got R.K. Lakshman got 10 out of 10 in drawing because of his neat drawing. And the teacher used to encourage R.K. Lakshman a lot, and this encouragement gave R.K. Lakshman a lot of strength to continue his drawings. In fact, it led to a birth of artist in R.K. Lakshman. And in fact, it is his destiny to become an artist, to become a cartoonist. Is is his destiny? Is his destiny? In fact, his drawings can be seen on the floors, walls, and doors of his house. One day, Lakshman sketched his father on the floor with chalk. His mother observed the caricature and called his father, and his father furiously told him to wipe it off at once. But his mother insisted not to clean and let it be on the floor to be seen by others, and finally disappeared in the course of time. The author recollects the tough time of his study in school, where he was especially weak in arithmetic and good in history. So again, one day, Akil Lakshman drew his father on the floors, and his father got very angry seeing this picture on the floor, and he told him to wipe it off. But it is the mother of R.K. Lakshman who wanted the picture to be there. She wanted the picture, the drawing to be there and not to be wiped off. And then he also tells that he was very good in history and at the same time he was very weak in arithmetic. He could make villains and heroes and warriors and identify civilizations and centuries. He could also remember the names of mountains and oceans and rivers in geography. The prose taught Lakshman moral values such as truthfulness, honesty, showing respect to elders. Themes of the poems taught him to internalize the principles of noble conduct. He's, he remembers one of the poems about a cow called Punakoti. So, uh, why he was so good in history is because he could remember the villains and heroes, warriors, and he could easily identify them. He also remembers the names of mountains, oceans, and rivers in geography. The prose taught him values, moral values like being truthful, being honest, and how to show respect to elders. And he also learned very many things from poems like principles of noble conduct. And thus he mainly remembers a poem called Punyakoti, which is about a cow. Here he talks about the poem Punyakoti in detail. It gazing along with others of its herd. He continues that Punyakoti somehow strayed on the way back home in the evening. A huge, hungry tiger confronted the cow and demanded that she becomes his maid. Not losing her calm, the cow promised to come back and offer herself as his dinner after sucking her hungry calf. The tiger allowed her to go, and after some time she returned. So here Lakshman talks about the poem which had deep influence on him. He talks about the story of Punyakoti, a very innocent cow. So he tells that somehow that cow was left while gazing with other cows, and then it was attacked by a tiger, and the tiger demanded that she should become his maid. And the Punikoti tells her, "Don't worry, I'll be back. I will be your meal, but I want to go back and I'll talk to my child and I'll bid goodbye, one final goodbye, and I'll come back." And finally, the tiger allows. And after going back, Punakoti goes back, talks to the child, and if it in fact bids goodbye, and it comes back. The tiger was so moved by the cow's honesty that he cried bitterly and threw himself from the edge of the cliff. The author recalls one more poem about woodcutter which was known to all Kannadigas of that era. One day a woodcutter accidentally dropped his iron axe into a pond. God wanted to test his honesty, who appeared as disguised fisherman. God retrieved the axe from the bottom of the pool and gave it back to the woodcutter. But the man returned as he found the axe was made of gold and it was not his. Again, God retrieved another axe from the pool and gave it to the woodcutter, and it was also refused by him as it was made up of silver. Finally, the iron axe was given to the woodcutter by the god, and he accepted it with delight. God was pleased with his honesty and blessed the woodcutter and rewarded him suitably. Thus, Lakshmana always enjoyed text, meaning, and moral content of the lessons. On the other hand, he disliked the arithmetic class. The writer recollects one of his arithmetic classes where the teacher instructed all the students to copy the problem from the board and solve it. All the students were engaged in solving the given task, but Lakshman doodling, sketching figures in the margin of his exercise book. It was observed by the teacher. He was he twisted the writer's ears and uh, pulled him up by it. He shouted, shoving the exercise book in writer's face and pointing to a creature like a tiger cub which Lakshman had drawn, and he was slapped. The writer tried to justify the image, either it belonged to a teacher or a harmless doodle of a tiger cub. Hence, it was an unpleasant incident in Lakshman's school life. After many years, the writer realized the maturity of his art. It was a moment of discovery vital to his understanding of the art of the caricature behind the mask of the teacher's public face. A person like the tiger cub could be discerned. There were other teachers whose looks could be associated with those of animals and birds. An active imagination energized by a keen sense of absurdity could even see the human resemblance to inanimate objects such as old buildings, the shape of bottles in drugstores, or to certain models of automobiles. As the writer mentions that such observation would certainly seem crazy to those normal vision and thinking habits. A cartoonist born with a cock-eyed vision manipulates a face or a human situation and distorts it without losing the essence of humor. The author recalls his teacher's appearance, which conformed to the classic stereotype. The teacher used to leave the class all times just to have a smoke. Now we have come to the last part of this session, that is revision. The class monitor was given the responsibility to maintain order. The author's drawing observed by the teacher. He questioned him if he had drawn it. Later he appreciated Lakshman's piece of art and showed it to the whole class and remarked, "You will be an artist one day, keep it up." This unexpected encouragement gave a birth to a new artist in Lakshman, uh, which in future made him a, a big, well-known, reputed cartoonist. So with this session ends. Hope you understood the critical analysis of the lesson cartoonist. I'll again meet you in the next session. Thank you. Thank you very much.